Sweet Christ. With the state of this club right now, you probably think it's a Herculean task to limit this to just 7 reasons. And you know what? It probably is. But not today. Why? Simple. This list is only going to address mistakes United are making on the pitch and how they can improve on these from now to the end of the season with the current crop of players they have. So no talk about transfer windows, legal cases, unrest in the dressing room, unrest among management, unrest with the owners, and etc, etc. You'll have to talk to an actual United fan for all of that. Let's roll up. Number 7, CR7. Yep, in the 7th entry on the 37th second of my 7th video, we are discussing United's 37-year-old number 7 on exactly 37 days short of 7 months since he returned for his 7th year at the club. 7. So ever since Rangnick took over, Ronaldo hasn't exactly been firing on all cylinders. And naturally, when this has happened in the last 7 years, everyone on Twitter becomes sports scientists and talk about his body being in decline due to age and no. For me, it's quite simple. He is still being played out of position. Believe it or not, Ronaldo has never been a clinical number 9. Much like his best pal, he's someone who scored a lot of goals by basically taking like 200 shots per game. And while I still would say he is the greatest goal scorer of all time due to other factors, it does not change the fact that he is not a centre forward. Why do people not realize that when Ronaldo starts from the left, there's always constant panic amongst opposition defenders, leading them to form a crowd around him, which creates space for the players in the middle. The likes of Higuain and Benzema in the past have hugely benefited from this, and that constant panic is actually because when he does get the ball out wide, he is practically unplayable. He can cut in and shoot, he can take it out wide and drill a ball in, he can cause a diversion by doing useless step overs while waiting for the overlap before getting in the box, and when the ball is on the other wing, can dart in for a header. And when he does that, his movements are a lot harder to track than when he just waits in the box for a cross. All the important goals Ronaldo has scored for United has been in games where he had a centre forward alongside him and therefore had full freedom to occupy that left channel at his convenience. And yes, you have to tweak overall tactics a little while covering for him defensively, as Ronaldo won't be a traditional winger or even the kind of winger Ralf Rangnick wants in his system. But as the man himself said, a good manager finds the balance between implementing his own philosophy and what's best for the crop of players he has at his disposal. And has Mr. Rangnick done this well so far? Well, number 6, Mr. Rangnick has not done this well so far. I'll be honest, I don't agree with the vast majority of the criticism the manager receives. Some are just inaccurate, like when idiots claim he hasn't improved United in any way since taking over. Some are mainly speculation, like reports of the players apparently not being fond of his training methods. And some are just plain irrelevant, like when the commentators during the Southampton game kept saying Ralph has a noodle. Once again, pure speculation. Personally, I think he has a massive dick. In any event, Rangnick needs to stop trying too hard to implement his own style and take more of a Zizou-like approach. And if you don't know what that is, it's finding a system where the current crop of players can express themselves to the best of their ability. And for me, that should be the main focus of this manager, because more likely than not, he's not going to get a transfer window to bring in his own. So leave the long-term building to the permanent manager and, temporarily at least, build a team around a 37-year-old. Because he is your best player right now by miles. Because let's face it, your priority, if not sole focus, should be getting top 4. Because if you don't, you'll just make it harder for the next manager to attract the ideal players for the system he wishes to implement. Now, we've already covered Ronaldo in depth, but if you want another example of his system not fitting his current players, look no further than Diogo Dalot, an attacking fullback with a decent delivery who more often than not overlaps his wingers. And guess what? He's currently being played behind the guy who probably thinks a pass is nothing but a gesture on fucking mastermind. And speaking of which, number 5, stop starting Marcus Rashford. Man, I genuinely hate criticizing this guy. I know there's a difference between politics and football, but what this man has done for the less privileged people in this country is hard to ignore. But for the purposes of staying on topic, we shall try. So let me get this straight. Poor IQ, poor with his back to goal, poor with the ball at his feet, poor passer of the ball, poor crosser of the ball, poor kids look up to him and rightly so, but on the pitch, Marcus Rashford offers practically nothing outside the run in behind. In short, as a footballer, You can either describe him as poor or even take the R away from that word if you wish to be mean. And right now, not only is Ronaldo being played through the middle, but Sancho also had to switch to the other side just so Rashford's pace could be utilized. Sorry, but the last time I checked, this isn't finding a balance between your own ideas and the players you have. This is you playing the system you want and scraping at the bottom of the barrel for any players that may fit the system, while more worthy and talented players are either warming the bench or shipped out elsewhere. And yes, I know Sancho was doing very well on the left, but he'd be as good if not better on the right, especially with someone like Dalot, while the team would also be significantly better with, yes, Ronaldo on the left. Sancho, Cavani, Ronaldo. This should 100% be the front three for the rest of the season. And what would be the best way to do this? Number 4, Real Madrid 2017 blueprint. Whether you believe me or think I'm way in over my head, my suggested United front three is actually very similar to the latter two teams of the Real Madrid 3-peat, where the front line was the trio of Isco, Benzema, Ronaldo. And guess who came off the bench in both finals? A one-dimensional pace merchant capable of the spectacular. Ring a bell? Look, it's not a coincidence that 4 out of the 5 goals Rashford has scored this season has been off the bench, because that's what he is, an impact player / super sub. He cannot start in a top team who aim to control games, so unless it's a counter-attacking setup against the big three, I repeat, Rashford should not start. I must stress again, no one said that the United players are as good as the Madrid sides, but they are of similar profile. Just think of it this way, Cavani is a BTEC 2018 Benzema with a little less technical ability and a little more work rate. Sancho is a BTEC 2018 Isco with a little less IQ and a little more pace, while Rashford is a year 6 foundation SATS exam version of a 2018 Bale. And if you didn't get these references, I'm guessing you're one of my viewers from Asia. And in that case,
namaste.
And this even stretches back to the midfield as well as the fullbacks. But of course, this is where the comparisons end, as Madrid had Casemiro as an enforcer while United have Ramos as a captain, partnering Varane, while United have number 3, change the fucking captain. Seriously, man, what the fuck? Number 2, drop him as well for fuck's sake. And number 1, promote youth players. This needs to happen. We've seen some success with this already, but man, these next 4 months is actually perfect. Why? Well, a few reasons. Firstly, the squad is injury prone and paper thin. Secondly, one of the constant criticisms of these group of players is that they lack hunger and aren't willing to work. Well, this will not be the case for any of the youth players. They will want to make an impression. Thirdly, this is actually a part of the United DNA. Give the kids a chance. Fourthly, if that's the way you say it, if you do give some youth players a chance until the end of the season, there may be some surprise packages which could save you serious money come the next transfer window. And what's the ultimate reason promoting youth players will help until the end of the season? Well, say hello again to our old friend Pindu. As I said, in this hypothetical scenario, we are building a team around Ronaldo. And what do you need when building a team around a 37-year-old all-time great who isn't interested in defending? Energy and respect. Oh, and pace, but that's not good without substance, is it, Marcus? Point is, these kids will be influenced and impressed by Ronaldo, and with this acting as extra motivation, this will massively impact the team's performance. So, do I have any specific academy players on my mind? Well, those who aren't afraid of the fucking dark would be a good start, but no, apart from Hannibal Mejbri, there isn't any other obvious standout player. But to be honest, there doesn't need to be. United right now don't need youth players to be promoted due to a shortage of talent in the first team, because as many have said before me, the team is immensely talented. They need youth to be promoted right now because young and up and coming players generally bring a certain other characteristic which again the first team are desperately lacking right now. The desire to prove yourself in every game, the will to cover every blade of grass, to play your heart out not only for those around you but also for the badge you are wearing, and with the window wide open to prove themselves as well as arguably the greatest footballer ever in their presence, there is no doubt that every kid promoted to the first team will give their all. And at the end of the day, as fans, that is all we really ask for. And that is that. Agree or disagree beats indifference. Once again, please like, comment and share. And yes, subscribe. Till next time, keep rolling.